Welcome back to Focus Today, and a delight, as always, to have with us our good friend, Dr. Paul Kreitz, who heads up, a Bible college. He writes, he speaks, he writes books, and he's all over the place. And, earlier, Paul, we had a story that I think it was like 4,500 women, if you can imagine that, in one place at one time. Judging whether or not they like men with beards.
Really?
Yeah. And so our illustrious staff photoshopped a beard on me and a couple of other guys around here. And I made the comment, I said, man, I look like Paul Kreitz with glasses on.
You handsome guy, you.
By the way, it ranked pretty favorable, so you're in the good side of ladies.
Well, I appreciate the update because I've been really thinking about shaving it and just leaving the goatee here. But honestly, my wife loves the beard. Everyone loves the beard. So there's no need to change perfection. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
that's it. Don't change perfection. We'll go with that. All right, you've written a lot of books, and I kind of want to do scrambled eggs with you today, from leadership to time management. And so, by the way, you can go to paulkreitzinternational.com or just Google Paul Kreitz, he'll come up. We've talked about Money Matters, a great book. Ministry Moments, a powerful book. If you're in ministry, you have to have it. Discovering the Power of Purpose, wow. We talked a little bit today about a weapon called time, and then he's also done the 21 things every leader needs to know.
Right.
Paul, there seems to be a vacuum of leadership. Now, I know there's a presidential race going on, and they all think they're leaders. But let's just take this NFL controversy about sitting down for the national anthem. Nobody is showing leadership on this issue. I mean, it's amazing. Have you ever seen a vacuum of leadership like we're experiencing in this country?
Well, let me just say this to you. I do a mentorship teaching every Monday night on Facebook, and I had my lovely wife on. So when you get a chance, go back and find my Facebook page and watch the last Dr. Paul Kreitz, and go to Facebook and find me, because my wife is a absolute video superstar. She's been holding back on me. I finally got her on camera, and she was just incredible. And I had the most watches last night I've ever had in one view. So I found my secret weapon. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. But, my wife and I have been talking. I just came back from a conference, and honestly, I was with church leaders, and me and another gentleman were talking how liberal the church has become, how condoning, how compromised the church has become. Men were getting up and speaking on church growth factors and saying, you can't expect anyone to come to church every Sunday anymore. That's not rational thinking. If they come twice a month, you're going to be successful. Now, I just planted a church. I just planted a church 3 weeks ago here in St. Augustine, right alongside with our college. And we've had a core group of people that have been with me every week, and more people are coming, and things are growing. And I believe that there is a spiritual hunger, and I'm not expecting politicians to answer the heart cry of people. Politicians speak to the logic, and godly men and women speak to a man's heart and spirit. Speak to a man and woman's heart and spirit. And so there is the issue. This thing of not standing up is the biggest bunch of nonsense I've ever seen. These people are employees. They are working. When they run out on that field, they are working. People are paying their salary. And how many children are watching these football players? Where is the corporate outcry of pulling endorsements? Where are the owners? Now, I know the Dallas Cowboy owner stood and told his team that they would be standing. I know Jeff Fisher at the Los Angeles Rams told his players, you will be standing. And so, but some of the rest of these crowds, I've been shocked. I was happy that my Steelers stood, Pittsburgh Steelers. I've watched the last 2 games, and they have been standing. But not every team has been doing that, and it's just a travesty of leadership.
All right. So let's go back to just Leadership 101. What is leadership?
Well, Leadership 101 is bringing influence. That's what Leadership 101 is. If you are bringing influence to an arena, you are a leader. If you're bringing influence to your home as a mother, you're a leader. If you're influencing your children as they grow and sitting down with them and helping them, you are a father. If you are bringing influence, but if you're just standing up on Sundays and giving sermons and setting up counseling appointments, and you're not bringing influence into the life, if you're not salt, if you're not light, you're not an influencer.
All right. So what are the qualifications for a leader?
Well, a qualification for a leader is someone who has to have confidence. They have to find confidence. They find confidence within. They find confidence outside of themselves. A confident leader surrounds himself with confident people. The Bible says, cast not away your confidence. It's very important that we have confidence in this season. And I believe this is what we're seeing, Perry, whether it's in the church or it's among politicians. We're not seeing confidence. Now, on the other hand, we are seeing Donald Trump standing and speaking very confident and making some very strong statements. And there's a pushback from our culture because, quite honestly, our culture has not seen leadership for a long, long time.
Yeah, it seems like he's running against certainly Hillary, the Democrats. He's running against a lot of Republicans. He's running against the news media. He's running against Hollywood. He's running against ISIS, and he's winning.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, someone said, Perry, you know somebody not just by their friends, but you also know them by their enemies.
Yeah.
And so there's a pretty strong group of people there that have made some decisions to do away with him. But, people, God's put within everyone listening to us a right and a wrong. They know right from wrong. They know right from wrong. Deep, deep down. I mean, I have done prison ministry, and I have met with men that were in prison, and they said, I didn't do what they said I did. I said, I've heard that. I said, no. I'm telling you, I didn't do that. It was someone else. I didn't do it. But all the other things I did that they never, ever caught me. He said it was just a matter of time that I was going to be in here.
Wow.
Because everybody knows right from wrong. Everyone knows that our country is in trouble. Everyone knows that you can't live on a financial debt that we have created for our children and our grandchildren. Everyone knows that these problems cannot be kicked down the road any further. That things have got to be dealt with when bombs are going off and things are taking place, and you wonder, is it going to take place where I go shopping next week, or will it be at this sporting event, or whatever it's going to be? And so people know, and so they're looking for leadership. They're actually they are, Perry, they're listening for a sound. They are listening for a sound. You said, what makes a leader? Confidence, and then there's a certain sound that resounds inside of your spirit. And you go, hey, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And that's what they're looking for. And that's why Donald Trump's going up in the polls.
Wow. I'm a little taken back by the next question. Is that sound God speaking?
Yes. We are made up of body, soul, and spirit. We are a triune being. There's three of us: body, soul, and spirit. I've got a body, I've got a soul, but I've got a spirit. My spirit is what lives on. When you got born again, I got born again. My body didn't get born again. When I wake up in the morning every day, I know my body wasn't born again. I have to speak health and healing. I have to keep myself in shape. I know my mind wasn't born again when I became a Christian, because I had struggles. I know my emotions and my soul, my mind, will, and my emotions. My emotions, if you were angry before you got saved, if you didn't get that delivered and handled, you'll be angry after you get saved. It's your spirit that got born again. Your spirit got born again, and that's what's going to live. Now, the Bible says, Perry, that God is a spirit. So since God is a spirit, he speaks to us where we're most like him, and that's in our spirit. So God will speak directly to your spirit. He'll even bypass your logic and speak things to you. And that's a powerful thing. So what we have to do is pray for an awakening among the people of the country, not just the people of God, but all the people, to have an awakening inside their spirit, so that they can once again hear, with all the clutter, with all the noise. I don't know where you live, but we've got commercial after commercial after commercial playing around the clock here in Florida, because it's a swing state. And there's so much noise and so much clutter. And I tell everybody, they say, Dr. Kreitz, what should I do? Who should I vote for? I said, listen, I'm a pro-life person, so I'm going to find the platform that is pro-life, and that answer is simple to me. But if you have a question, I'm going to tell you to go listen inside your spirit, because you know the right thing to do.
Very well said. Let me take a break. Talking to Dr. Paul Kreitz. You can go to paulkreitz.com and check out all of his books and writings and the school and everything. We come back. He did write a book called The Weapon Called Time. I'm going to have him highlight that. Another great resource. If you're struggling with time, I said earlier, and I'll say it again, it's the one thing we all have equal: time. How are you using it? Are you running out of it? We'll talk about it when we come back.
I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
And what a delight to have with us our good friend Dr. Paul Kreitz. And you can go to drpaulkreitz.com, and when you're there, you'll see a list of all kinds of resources, in particular the books that he's authored. They're very reasonably priced, and we're going to talk about the book called A Weapon Called Time, something that we all have the equal amount of, and yet it seems like in these hectic days we run out of time. Paul, why'd you write this book?
Well, because everyone kept telling me how significant money was, and I began to realize the older I became that time was more valuable than money. That you could lose $20,000 this year with a bad deal, or you didn't manage things correctly. But if you work hard enough, the next year you can get that $20,000 back. But if you lose 2 months this year, if you lose 6 months this year, you'll never get that time back. If you fail a grade in school, you've lost a year of your life. And so time is everything. Now, time is a weapon, and when you point time in the right direction, when you begin to harness it and strategize, and I guess the word that's in my spirit to talk to you about today is, in regarding time, is strategizing. What we need is, everyone listening to me, is to have a plan. And I have a chapter in the book, chapter number 3, planning and goal setting, and you really need to work on strategizing and making a plan and having a goal. If you tell me that you don't have any goals, then you're telling me you really aren't going anywhere. You're just living day to day, and you're letting time dictate your schedule instead of you ordering time.
Two things come into play here, Paul, and that is, we live in a culture that's full of interruptions. One interruption after another. And we also now live in a culture where our attention span has been shrunk to almost zero. And that has to probably play on our ability to have good retention of what we do read or what we do take in. How do you manage those?
Well, I have a saying, what consumes your mind will come to you in time. Someone said, what you think about, you bring about. The Bible says, as a man thinks, so is he. It's very important that you do not lose your focus. Your focus will determine three things, Perry. It'll determine your friendships, it'll determine how you feel, and it'll determine your future. Wherever you're looking is where you're going, and along that path, you're going to meet people. If you're looking all over the place, you're going to meet people who are all over the place. But if you get a focus and you enroll in college, go back to the university, you're going to meet other students. You're going to find eventually people going to your classes. You're eventually going to find people that are interested in the subject matter. And maybe for the first time in your life, talk with someone who shares the same goals that you have. But you've got to find a focus. What you look at the longest will become the strongest. So you've got to stay focused. Once you get a strategy, you've got to stay focused. And so in this world of complete distraction, you know what a crisis is, Perry. A crisis is just simply broken focus. When something breaks your focus for 24 hours or 72 hours, you've got to, once again, regain your focus. We watched this as we were talking earlier about politics, and they say they had a bad week or a bad 2 weeks. What happened? They lost their focus. They said the wrong thing. They did the wrong thing. They weren't forthcoming. They didn't handle things correctly. Once you get a focus with your time, this is the key to a weapon called time. I hope everyone watching will get the book. If you're in the United States, I'll pay the shipping. I want you to have it. Just go to my website, paulkreitz.com, PaulKrites.com. I'll get the book. I'll ship it out in the next 2 days to you, so you can have this book in your hand in just a few days. But it's extremely important that you do not let time run your world, but you run time. You manage it. And you do it according to the strategy and the plan and the goal.
I've learned something from reading that book.
Yeah.
And that is that no is a complete sentence. You know, people want you to do something. They want you to go here. They want you to respond. And I've had to say no. I can't tell you that it's been easy for me to say no, but I learned the value of saying no. What do you think?
Well, you're sitting at your home and the phone rings. You pick up the phone. It's one of your friends, one of your pals. It's Saturday morning, and they say, "What are you doing?" And you say the dumbest thing in the world, nothing. And when you say nothing, they've got something for you to do, especially if you own a truck.
Well, that's for sure. They want to borrow it. What's the biggest, so you're saying of all the things in the book, I agree with you, Paul, of all the things you talk about in the book, focus is the number one, and yet it's the biggest one that gets attacked is focus. What about short-term and long-term focus?
Well, I have a chapter in the book that I talk about called The Weapon of Tomorrow Thinking. And many people have been to Disneyland or Disney World. They've been to Tomorrow World, where Walt Disney, when he created the park, he put it in different sections, and he talked about a Tomorrowland. There's no power, Perry, in our past. The only power in our past is what we give to it. You may have been through someone watching, listening. You may have been through a bad breakup, a bad relationship, difficulties in your past. Maybe you had to declare bankruptcy at one time. There's no need to refer to that. There's no need to talk about it. What you talk about, you give life to. So there's no power in the past unless you give it to it. Your present, right now where you're living, is simply a result of the decisions you've made. Your present reality is a result of the decisions you've made up until this point. But what I get excited about, and what everyone watching me should be excited about, is your tomorrow. Because watch this now, when tomorrow arrives, it's called today. When tomorrow arrives, it's called today. You rename it from tomorrow to today. And if you've not had a strategy and a plan, and if you're not focused, watch this now, your today will just look like your yesterday's.
Boy, that's pretty well said. Well, Paul, you're a delight. I would hope, I know that all of this is practical thinking. I would say that the weapon of time, or the weapon called time, is one of the books you need to get. And then the 21 things that every leader should know. The combination of those two are powerful for people who are in leadership. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I just discovered that the Marine Corps base, some of their leadership is studying 21 things every leader needs to know. So I'm excited about that. And hopefully I'll be able to get a book into Donald Trump's hand so that when he begins to set up some things, maybe I can become a time management advisor or something like that.
Well, go for it. Yeah. With your beard, maybe they'll let you in. Let me ask you this. Just given your, and I know this, I don't want it to sound political. I just want it to go back to your book of leadership. It appears to me that Donald Trump has proven leadership by his successes and his failures. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, the people that you want to talk to, that you want to have mentor you, are people that have understood success and disappointment and failure. When people, young men, come to me and talk to me about their marriage issues, I'm very qualified to talk to them about them because I know what a great one is, and I know what a painful experience that I've had. I know what it is to live from week to week, month to month financially and struggle raising a family. And I know what it is to walk and see the blessing of the Lord manifest in your life, so that money just simply means you have some more options. My daughter went off to college a couple months ago. I have a son finishing up a PhD degree. I've got some other children that all have their college education behind them and are working. How could that happen without the blessing of the Lord? So I've made mistakes. I've learned from my mistakes, but my greatest learning came from mentors. There's only two ways to learn.
Hey, I got to go.
Mistakes and
Okay. Thanks, buddy. PaulKreitz.com. Go there and get the book. Talk to you soon, bud.
All right. Bye.
See you later. We'll see you next time on Focus Today.